What's up, Falcon fans? We are definitely cooking in the A-Town for sure. Here's my prediction for wins and losses for the upcoming 2025 season for our Atlanta Falcons. If you guys are excited, then hit that like button. Also, hit that subscribe button as well. Without further ado, let's get started with Week 1 prediction. We are coming right out of the gate to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. Now, last year they won the division, 10-7 record. But what's really interesting is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers haven't lost a season opener game, not since 2020, where the New Orleans Saints beat them. Baker Mayfield is still dangerous at the age of 30. Last season, he had 4,500 total passing yards, 41 touchdowns to 16 interceptions, and they ranked number 3rd in total passing yards in 2024. So it's going to be a tough time for the Atlanta Falcons defense to slow down the passing game. But the positive side is they have their first time offensive coordinator in Josh Grizzard under center that I think the Atlanta Falcons defense can take full advantage of because this is week 1. So give me the Atlanta Falcons for the win. In week 2, the Atlanta Falcons are traveling to US Bank Stadium to face the Minnesota Vikings on a primetime game. So we are currently on a 2-game losing streak, but both of them are pretty close with each other. It's just unfortunate at the 4th quarter, everything starts to fall apart with us. The whole Joshua Dobbs situation back in 2023 was just embarrassing for the Atlanta Falcons. And then last year in 2024, where you had Sam Darnold throwing 5 touchdowns compared to Kirk Cousins' 2 interceptions, that really hurt the Atlanta Falcons because we were in this game until Sam Darnold just decided to throw 3 more touchdowns to really seal the victory. But since now we have a more athletic, younger quarterback under center in Michael Penix Jr., I think we will definitely have a much better outcome, even though the Vikings defense is still top tier. But of course, they have J.J. McCarthy that I think is a check down quarterback. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. But I think the Atlanta Falcons will come out with a victory. In week 3, we're going to face the Carolina Panthers. And their biggest strength is that offensive line unit. They ranked in the top 10 last year. They also have a low-key, solid wide receiving core. Yes, they might be the fastest guys on the field, but they still are a divisional opponent, so they will try a little bit harder, I think. Of course, their Achilles heels is that defense. They were terrible last year in the league. I'm actually kind of shocked they didn't address it early in the latest draft. So since we're facing them pretty early on, where they still haven't figured out the defense yet, I'm going to take the Falcons win here as well. In week 4, we definitely have a big task on our hands. We have to face a team that dominated last year, where they went 12-5. They also scored 54 total touchdowns. If that's not scary enough for you guys, their defense have racked up 43 total sacks and caused 23 turnovers. For some reason, we cannot seem to beat these guys because in the past 4 meetings, we have lost to them by 7 points or less. So unfortunately, I will give us our first loss of the season. The Falcons have our early bye week in week 5, so now let's continue with week 6. I'm glad in week 6 we're facing the Bills early because every time we face them around November or December time, we lose to them. The last time we beat the Bills was back in 2005, where we faced them in week 3. I'm very aware that we're facing a Buffalo Bills team that have been consistently winning 10 or more games since 2019 because of their quarterback in Josh Allen. So there are 2 interesting things I've noticed. Number 1, the Bills will have to face 5 opponents before facing us. Plus, 3 out of those 5 games will be prime time, meaning they will have more exposure that the Falcons coaching staff can look at and get reference before they come into Atlanta because we have an extra week to prepare because of our bye week. Number 2, this will be a good matchup to see if our defense have improved because the Bills rank number 1 when it comes to total rushing touchdowns with 32 versus the Falcons defense in stopping the rushing touchdowns by only allowing 11 rushing touchdowns in total. That ranks us number 28. So surprisingly, I'm actually going to give us the advantage here with a dub. During the spooky season in Week 7, we're going to face the San Francisco 49ers at their place on a Sunday night primetime game. Of course, we all know that the 49ers had 17 players departure during this free agency, but they literally didn't add any superstar players in return. But there is one big but. They still have one of the best players in the NFL, and his name is running back Christian McCaffrey, and that guy is no joke. There are two problems that I don't like the Atlanta Falcons situation in. Number one, the 49ers are 4-2 against the Falcons in prime time. So the last time we faced them in prime time was back in 2013, where we lost to them. It was 34-24, where Matt Ryan was trying to throw the touchdown to Harry Douglas, but unfortunately, Navarro Bowman picked it off for a pick six. Number two, the Niners have won 3 of their previous 5 home games against the Falcons. So if history is going to repeat itself in a negative way for us, they are going to win this game. The Miami Dolphins are traveling to Atlanta to face the Falcons in a Week 8 matchup. I personally think Mike McDaniels is a solid head coach for the Dolphins, but last year they got hit with the injury bug that really derailed their season, where they finished with a 8-9 record. Their defense was solid last year. They ranked in the top 10 when it comes to total defense. So when it comes to their offense last year, they ranked number 22 in total offense. And that mostly had to do with their quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa. I think he's a solid quarterback in the league. I don't think he's an all-star in my personal opinion. And the only 2 playmakers that has the most impactful motor are just the 2 wide receivers in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I think the Falcons defense can handle their offensive power, so I think the Falcons will win this game. I don't care how you do it in Week 9, but we haven't beat the Patriots since 1998. That's a 7-game losing streak, and it ends this season. So hell yeah, the Falcons should win this game with a passion. To be perfectly honest with you guys, I really don't know too much about the Colts. I do know they're just a solid unit just like us. They are also missing some key players to finally put the pieces together for them. So as it stands right now, I'll give the edge to the Falcons because at least we have our own franchise quarterback, unlike them going into Week 10 matchup. In Week 11, we will face the Carolina Panthers again, but this time we will fall to them because for some strange reasons, not since 2021, every time we face them for the first time we win, but then the second time we lose to them. That's some crazy 185 rivalry, so I'll have to give it up to the Carolina Panthers for this time. In Week 12, the Atlanta Falcons are going to the Bayou to face the New Orleans Saints. And of course, for some reason, we haven't beat them at their place since 2021. And for the past 3 straight seasons after that, in 2022 through 2024, we had lost at their place, probably with all that voodoo magic they got going on. So unfortunately, I will also have us losing as well to keep that streak alive. In Week 13, the Falcons will travel to MetLife Stadium to face the Jets that haven't been relevant ever since 2015. Sorry about that. They are definitely in a rebuilding mode, and I think having Jeff Ulbrich, that has been with this organization for 4 years as a defensive coordinator, he will definitely know some of the schemes that the Jets will be calling, so I have the Atlanta Falcons winning this game easily. Going into Week 14 will definitely be a difficult task for the Atlanta Falcons because we have to face the Seattle Seahawks that definitely, I think, improved from last year. Yes, they lost to their quarterback in Geno Smith to the Raiders by trade, and also, yes, they also lost 2 of their star wide receivers in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. But they signed so much talent in the free agency market is ridiculous, and how they recovered. And plus, I think they aced the draft this season. And how can I forget, they did pick up Sam Darnold to a 3-year contract. So unfortunately, I think the Atlanta Falcons will fall to the Seattle Seahawks again. For another second time, we will face our division rival, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at their place. But I think this will be the turning point for the Atlanta Falcons because we are ready for the playoff bounce. This Falcons team has been dealing with adversity and they have found their way. And unfortunately, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though they're going to be good this season, they will have another 0-2 confrontation with us. This will be the 6th time since 2010 where we swept the Buccaneers, so I like my chances with the Atlanta Falcons at this point in time. the Falcons will travel to the desert to face the Arizona Cardinals in Week 16. And what's strange about this series against the Cardinals is that they lead the series 18-16, but if you take a look in the past, not since 2001, we have beaten them 9 times out of the 4 losses. Plus, out of those 9 games, 5 of those games, we blew them out. Now, for the Cardinals' sake, they haven't really beaten us bad. They have just beaten us closely. Yes, I know we lost to them in 2019 and 2023 just by 3 points or less, but I feel like this Atlanta Falcons team just has a better roster to avoid this situation, and hopefully Raheem Morris learn his lesson to handle adversity as well. So I'm going to give it to the Atlanta Falcons, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals actually do beat us. In Week 17, the Rams will be facing the Atlanta Falcons in Mercedes-Benz Stadium on a Monday night primetime game. Now, I'm not stupid. Last year, they did a hell of a job going 10-7, and their defense was dominating the competition. Out of the 17 total games, they only allowed 4 of those opponents to score 30-plus points or more. One of the key problems last year for the Rams was their offensive power. They weren't consistent enough when it comes to points per play, passing yards, and third down conversions. They were ranked 15th in total. That being said, we shouldn't underestimate Matthew Stafford because he still has an arm. So on that note, if we had to face the Rams at their place, I would give them the slight edge. But since they have to travel to our domain, Falcons will ink out a close victory at home. For the final game of the season, the New Orleans Saints will travel to Atlanta to face the Atlanta Falcons in Week 18. To be honest with you guys, I think the New Orleans Saints are trying to tank for Arch Manning, the quarterback out of Texas. And also, the New Orleans Saints roster, a lot of them are pretty old and pretty much in their final contract. So I think the New Orleans Saints are just going to go all out and just try to flop. Or maybe that's just me as a Falcon fan really wants them to believe that. But I still think we're going to take the dub regardless. So in conclusion, on paper, I think we're going to have a solid year. Now, the reality is we have no clue how things are going to turn out. We don't know, the injury is going to catch up, in the beginning or later. We don't know the aptitude of the coaching staff. Can they or won't they, adjust properly? We don't know if players will shine under pressure or fold under pressure. We don't know how the refs will cheat us or help us and win victories. And the biggest thing is NFL miracles. They happen against us or for us. So that being said, what do you guys think? Do you guys think we're going to have a 10-plus winning season or less than that of a season? I'm curious, do you guys agree or disagree how I think? Let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, what do Falcons do? Rise up. Until the next episode, show love and peace to the world, and peace.